From a strategy perspective, why bother? Why do executives bother with this? Jenna alluded to the fact that there could be better sales, enhanced customer experience, better customer engagement, but you have to have a very clear understanding of why are we going down this pike. And you need somebody that's willing to take that on, an executive sponsor that typically, for Metaverse anyhow, is a pioneer. It's not a typical CEO of an existing company. Within a big company, you'd want to have somebody that's a little bit, if you will, on the fringe of more on the pioneer side, wanting to break away from some of the traditions and models that are being used. And a new Metaverse company, clearly it's somebody with a vision. Then you really have to understand who is my target audience. Not just why am I wanting to do this, but to whom am I going to do this? And it's very clear to me as I do more and more learning and research in this industry, to a large extent it's not boomers and it's not necessarily X. It's really moving into millennials and Gen Z. They will drive this industry. And if we want to be successful as an industry, we must put ourselves in the mindset, particularly of Gen Z and somewhat millennial, and understand how do they want to do business with a company. Because if you look at kind of today's business model, if you look at it, today's business model says we communicate with human persons. That's how we are comfortable. But from a perspective of the Gen Z, within 5 years, the vast majority of those, and they're going to be customers, will insist on communicating with companies using avatars. And we have to ask ourselves, how do you communicate with an avatar? Well, we go back to our existing business model where customers visit our physical stores or our 2D websites or e-commerce sites. And we know that tomorrow's customer, particularly Gen Z, is wanting to visit a Metaverse 3D site to purchase their goods and services, and maybe even NFTs. We look at today's business model and we sell typically in dollars or a foreign currency, in the United States at least. Tomorrow we'll be selling, if you will, particularly maybe using credit cards for the next few years, but then we move into cryptocurrencies. If we look at today's business model, we have set up fairly complex systems for payments and particularly for customer service and some of the other CRM functions. But tomorrow we're going to be doing all of that, if you will, in the Metaverse. So how do you service an avatar in the Metaverse? And so what we have is a bit of a paradigm shift where the old business model no longer will allow for the requirements to get to the Metaverse successful applications. And we need to create new business models.